Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, a proud supporter of WQPT, has been serving Quad City families since 1889. They now have live stream capabilities for viewing your loved one's funeral or memorial service.
At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial and physical health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
Tax changes and jobs, the path ahead for Iowa's governor, and learning how to keep up with one of the oldest professions in the world, farming. Stories are coming up in the cities. Western Illinois University excels in its programs to advance 21st century technology and new ideas to agriculture. After all, it is our area's biggest industry, so we'll have more on that in a moment. But first, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds announcing a bold list of ideas she wants to see enacted by the Republican-controlled state legislature. And in this election year, as she seeks a second full term, much of what she's proposing may very well be enacted. We were able to talk with the governor after her appearance at the North Scott Rotary Club's meeting. You're proposing a 4% flat tax that would be phased in over 4 years. Why not go bold faster?
Yeah, well, we want to make sure that we're doing it in a responsible manner. We've ran the runs, and this is what we can do. Not only is it make us more competitive, help Iowans keep more of their hard-earned money, but it also makes us more competitive. And just like I did in 2018 when I passed the largest income tax cut in the history of our state, we've been able to recognize increased growth, and so we're still over collecting, and that's why we came back this year to again reduce taxes even further. And actually, with the 4% flat tax rate, when I took office, we had the 6th highest income tax rate in the country. And with my plan, we'll go from the 6th highest to the 5th lowest, to the 5th lowest. And so we start to really become competitive. And when I have, 17 states that are led by Democratic governors that have lower taxes than Iowa, we are not where we need to be. We are not competitive. We need to grow this state, and this is one of the ways that we can do that, because that money that we give back to Iowans will turn over and over in our communities, on our main streets, in our businesses and restaurants, and we'll continue to see that economic growth that I believe is possible.
Well, and as you know, some of your Republican colleagues would like to see no income tax in Iowa. Why didn't you push that far?
Well, I mean, I'm not ruling it out down the road. I just think this is the responsible next step, and it makes us very competitive. I love the fact that we're no longer going to tax retirement, to tax pensions, IRAs, 401ks. That impacts a lot of Iowans, and what we're seeing right now is they're leaving the state to go to Florida and Arizona and Texas, and heck, they're even going to Nebraska because they have lower taxes on their pension. And that's, again, those are volunteers. That's money that turns over in our communities. We want to keep them in the state of Iowa. So I'm really excited about that component of the tax bill. It's a full tax repeal on individuals that are paying taxes on their retirement income. And the other thing that I really like about our bill is it rewards work. And it's so important that we're doing that right now, especially with the unprecedented worker shortage that this is being experienced across the nation, and of course right here in the great state of Iowa.
Now, your tax plan also calls for cuts in corporate taxes as well. Is that not true? Yeah,
that is true. It's a little further out, so we're not as ambitious as we are with the 4 years to get to 4%. The repeal on tax on retirement income is actually effective next year. This takes a little bit longer to bring it down. But again, I want to point out that California, Illinois, and New York have lower corporate tax rates than Iowa. If California, that almost taxes breathing, has a lower tax rate than Iowa does, we are not even close to being in the ballpark. And so it's just another piece of making Iowa competitive and encouraging growth and businesses locating in the state of Iowa. And they pay taxes. Again, that's what helps to grow our economy and brings people to the state of Iowa.
Governor, let's talk about jobs because it's so critical to improve the economy in Iowa, but now it's such a different economy. You can't just have a job post and expect a bunch of people to apply. People are pickier than ever. People are looking for part-time work. You're looking at people who want to work from home. It really is a whole different landscape when it comes to job creation for states like Iowa.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, just unprecedented worker shortages. COVID hasn't helped that. The uncertainty from the administration, it's impacting the supply chain. So we really have to take a look at the system in Iowa, and we need to lead on this. And I'm lucky we have a great foundation to build on. Unanimously, every single Republican and Democrat voted for Future Ready Iowa, which has a goal of having 70% of Iowans in the workforce have education or training beyond high school by the year 2025. We're making great gains with that. We've incorporated registered apprenticeship program, work-based learning, computer science into our K-12 educational system. That's providing that pipeline, and we're seeing some great things come of that. The other thing we needed to do, I said, is it starts with, I think, revamping our unemployment system into a re-employment system. So I'm setting up a bureau that will deal with just re-employing Iowans whose sole focus will be helping them do the resume, get the skills, match them up with a job, one-on-one career coaching from day one. We also said that because there are so many jobs available, it's just really unreasonable to allow people to be on unemployment benefits for over 6 months. Where I'm asking the legislature to reduce that to 4. I think that's still reasonable. And again, remember, one-on-one career coaching. We're working with that individual. We have more job openings than we have people on unemployment. And so, and in every sector, so a lot of opportunity. We're willing to invest in them and help them get a job and help them have a career where they can take care of themselves and their family.
Let's be honest, you want to be as aggressive as possible, but you know what? Every neighboring state, 49 other states in the union are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Why do you think Iowa and your plan is the answer?
Well, that's all we talk about when we get together as governors. Make no mistake, everybody is dealing with this. This is across the country. We're in a better position than most. We have the 9th highest labor participation rate in the country, but we're still not where we were before 2020, and we used to be in the top 4 with labor participation rate. So we have work to do. We're just every day we're focused on that. I spent the entire interim looking. I challenged all of our agencies to find what kind of workforce programs they have. What is the return on investment? What are the outcomes? And we had over 1,011 different agencies. It's too complicated. People don't know about it, so we're streamlining it. We're identifying the ones that work. We're looking for ways to scale them. And then I think really just standing up its own bureau for reemployment of Iowans will go a long way, and just coordinating the efforts that we're putting forward. But we're continually looking for new things that we need to do. We just need to bring new people to Iowa too. So we've been very aggressive with our This Is Iowa campaign. The tax structure is another way to bring people here, but to really highlight, we kept our kids in school. So many of the states and Iowans who have left the state and haven't had their children in a classroom for over 2 years, Iowa is starting to look pretty appealing. I talked about the couple that moved here from California because they wanted out of just the chaos and the high taxes that they were experiencing in California. They love Iowa. So we've got a great story to tell, low cost of living, great quality of life, great school system that we kept open. So I think we've got a good story to tell. We just need to do a better job of telling it.
Yeah, and we had an economist on who says that the key thing is to make Iowa cool, a place that people want to move to, a place that, is going to invigorate young families. Are you a little worried that perhaps some of the agenda on the Republican side, as far as social issues, let's talk about abortion or the fact that the President of the State Senate was talking about sinister motives in some teachers in the classroom. Are you worried that that type of language and those type of moves could be a hindrance to job creation?
You know, as the governor of Iowa, I think I made it very clear in the condition of the state, and really my record has made it very clear how much I appreciate our teachers and educators and what we've done to support them, whether it's the teacher leadership and compensation program, whether it's STEM, STEM-Best, work-based learning, registered apprenticeship programs, whether it's helping provide professional development, whether it's giving them a $1,000 bonus to say thank you for staying in school when other states the teachers didn't, and we want you to stay, whether it's a teacher registered apprenticeship program that we just launched that was the first in the nation. I think we've done a good job of making our educators know that they're important and critical. My daughter is a public teacher, so public educator, so you know, I get to give her a hug and tell her thanks for doing what she's done through some really difficult times. And you know, we do have a great story to tell, and we've got a lot to build on. And so broadband, we're ahead of where many of the other states are at because we were aggressive and led, and we had the programs in place, and we have allocated over $300 million in broadband connectivity that has leveraged millions of private sector funding to connect the state from one corner to the next. It's fiber to the home. It's 100 up, 100 down. That's how we, you know, grow prosperity and opportunity in every single corner of the state. We're working on trails and whitewater courses and just a lot of cool things. The Field of Dreams was we knocked it out of the park with that. And you know, the entire country got a sneak peek of just the coolness that's happening here in the state of Iowa. And so we're going to build on those opportunities that we've had to showcase not only what we have to offer here in the state, but I would put Iowans up against anybody else. I tell you, they are kind-hearted, caring, they take care of their neighbors, hardworking, salt of the earth, and so, you know, by far our biggest asset is our people, but we got a lot to offer, especially when it comes to housing and just cost of living.
But once again, is some of this rhetoric a setback to your efforts?
No, no, because I'm out there every day talking about the positive things that are happening in Iowa. I get a chance to do that frequently. There's rhetoric on both sides, so I don't think you can stand there and tell me that rhetoric is only happening on one side of the aisle. There's a lot of misinformation that's happening on the other side as well. And so you just have to go through, you just have to push past that and really focus on what you think will make a difference, and that's what I've done. And you know, one of the reasons we're in the place that we are is because we put our faith in Iowans to do the right thing, and they did. We kept our economy open, and that had a huge impact on Iowans, on our kids, on our employers, and on our economy. And it's the reason we're the #1 state for opportunity. It's the reason that the Wall Street Journal just published my bold tax plan, because you know, they know that this will make a significant difference for our state and put us on the map. And so those are the things that we're talking about when we're talking about why Iowa.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds. In a moment, rethinking farming, what Western has to offer area farmers, embracing the future of agriculture. But first, Laura Adams tells us what we can do to shake off the last days of January as you head out and about.
This is Out and About for January 27th through February 4th. There is literally something for everyone this week. The JC's Bridal Expo is back. Whether you're looking for the latest trends or something more traditional, the expo is the place to be. It's at the River Center the 29th starting at 9. Riders test their mettle at the Forks Frozen Fat Fondo Fest at Credit Island Lodge on the 29th at 9. There are fat tire requirements to follow. Quad City Arts hosts a gallery reception for artist Elaine Miller the 29th at 11. Join them to meet the artist and see her work. Brood Live returns to the QCCA Expo Center on the 29th from noon to 4, while Quad City Storm Hockey is at the TaxSlayer Center. The 28th, they play against the Peoria Rivermen, and the 29th and 30th against the Knoxville Ice Bears. Dancing with the Stars Live Tour 2022 takes over the Adler Theater stage February 2nd at 8 with your favorite dancers from the television show, while the JoJo Siwa Dream Tour has special guests The Bells perform at the TaxSlayer Center February 4th at 7. Or catch the Incredible 45s at Rhythm City Casino on the 28th. The Eagles and Ivory's Ragtime Weekend continues in Muscatine with non-stop concerts through Sunday the 30th, and the hysterical comedy The Play That Goes Wrong literally brings down the house at Circa 21. For more information, visit WQPT.org.
Thank you, Laura, and welcome to a new year and continued COVID anxiety. We could all use a couple little victories, right? And that's the title of a song by Quad City musician Murray Lee Rice. He's part of the four-man group Rude Punch, but he joined us at the Black Box Theater in Moline to show us some of his solo work. Here's Murray Lee Rice with Little Victories.
I didn't get the joy, nor have I won the lottery, but I just made a perfect cup of coffee. Sometimes it's all about those little victories, oh yeah. My bills are overdue. My bank account is overdrawn. But I think that I just met someone. Sometimes it's all about little battles that are won. Oh yeah. Yeah, winning big sure would be nice, but worrying about it will put your heart on thin ice. At least I'm not 6 feet underground. Sometimes it's all about not beating yourself down. Now I've got pretty cushy job, and it pays like a low budget lottery, but I still crave that perfect cup of coffee. Yeah, it's still all about those little victories. Oh, it's still all about those little victories.
Murray Lee Rice, Little Victories, recorded at Moline's Black Box Theater. Western Illinois University School of Agriculture has been a trailblazer. It has helped countless students find rewarding careers in all facets of the industry and has helped Western Illinois and Eastern Iowa farmers find new markets, new methods, and new innovations as farming becomes the high-tech industry that it is today. We talked with the School of Agriculture Director, Dr. Andrew Baker, about the department's latest recognition and how farming is plowing ahead into the 21st century. Well, Dr. Baker, you have to be very proud of the national recognition that the School of Agriculture has received at Western.
Yes, it was very honored and very privileged to be able to receive this award. You know, after 24 years of being at Western, it's nice to be recognized by your peers in Illinois as well as at the national level as well. So we're just real thrilled to have this recognition.
The only thing about awards is it has to do with stuff that you've done already. You know, it's for stuff that's already occurred. But what's interesting in this particular award is that you were also judged on having lasting teaching methods. I just think that's so impressive because that's giving you honors for what you're doing for the future.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So I've just started my 23rd year here, and I haven't changed a lot in the curriculum. So it's all about the philosophical approach and making sure your students have the right nuts and bolts and tools to be able to build their own ag program. And being effective teachers, there's basic building blocks that you can teach them about, but we spend a lot of time in the classroom talking about yourself as a teacher. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And if you happen to have some students in the classroom that are opposite of you, that's tough. That's difficult sometimes. And you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone and be able to reach those students that are not like you. as a teacher, because you'll find out that most of the students in the classroom that do really well in school match up with their teachers really well personality wise. So that's why the success is there. It's some of the students out there, right, that maybe don't match up with the teachers very well, personality wise or learning wise, in the learning process. So it's really important that we spend a lot of time focusing on them, the individual, right, and how they're going to be able to create this learning environment that's going to match up with who they are as a teacher plus their students that are in their classroom. So there's a lot to it, but making sure that they get the proper field experiences, getting out in the classroom early enough to make sure that this is the profession that they really want to pursue is also important as well, because one of the first field experiences that we integrate in the classroom, and I've been doing this for numerous years, is going in the elementary schools and teaching ag literacy lessons. Well, at the elementary school, those students, you're a rock star. You're somebody different, right? And you ask a question and they all raise their hand. High school classroom, that's not the same. A lot of times it's your job is to motivate the unmotivated, right? But it's really important for my students to see that there is a point in time, especially in the elementary grades, that all students are excited about learning. And that kind of fades off as those students mature, right, and get into the high school years. So I want them to be able to experience that and be able to use that in their teaching methodologies.
Let's talk about the School of Agriculture, because it really has three major fingers to it. I mean, there's three big emphasis for agriculture at Western.
Yes. All of our students, all of our ag majors receive a bachelor's of science in agriculture, but each student has to decide which pathway they want to be able to walk down, right? And so the first one's ag business, and the second one is ag science, and then the third one is agricultural education. So, but for us, our philosophical approach in this department is to develop a comprehensive program. So just because you're ag business, right, doesn't mean that you're not going to take an animal science course or a horticulture course that fall under the ag science pathway. Now, Ag Ed is a little bit different. There's certainly a specific curriculum in agricultural education, but all of my students are taking ag business and ag science classes to kind of build, their content knowledge for teaching agriculture.
One of the things Western really has tried to do is not follow but lead when it comes to agriculture. And in some areas, it's the methods of growing more crops or rotation of crops. In other areas, it's introducing new crops that could be possible in Western Illinois. What successes have you seen in that area?
Well, first off, I'm going to say the success is hiring the right people. Of course, if you hire the right faculty, they're going to go out and be innovative, right? Give them the tools to be able to write grants and get support that way. So I've got a great set of faculty here in the School of Agriculture, which has led to the development of our cannabis minor that's now in its second year. So when you have faculty that are willing to explore these new avenues and keep the curriculum fresh and innovative, those are some of the things that you're looking at. So we've written Illinois Department of Agriculture grants to build a hydroponic unit. And we've been growing lettuce, and we've been able then to sell it in the local Hy-Vee store, so people can go in the Macomb Hy-Vee and buy hydroponic lettuce that we grew here on campus. We also have written another Illinois Department of Agriculture grant to build a high tunnel facility out at the University Farm, which a high tunnel is like a greenhouse, but it doesn't have water and it doesn't have electricity, but it extends your growing season. For minimal cost, a lot of farmers, producers could put one of these high tunnels on their farm and be able to grow fresh produce, and from February to November, right? And so we've also been able to do that and sell bell peppers and eggplant and tomatoes and to the local Hy-Vee store. And they've been very appreciative because they want locally raised food to sell to their consumers. So it's been a win-win situation for both of us.
We've also seen technology change so fast, especially when it comes to farm equipment. As you know, John Deere introducing this, riderless, driverless tractor. Mm-hmm. I mean, agriculture is not standing still in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. And you got to stay on top of it, right? And it's really been nice to be able to see that. But our also philosophical approach in this department is to do that outreach. We think it's really important to be able to educate others about what we're doing here on campus. And so we actually hold 3 field days over the summer. One's for our organic farm at the Allison Organic Research Farm up at Raritan. And then we have an agronomy field day. And then we also have Pennycrest, which is associated with our $10 million USDA NEFA grant that we got 3 years ago. So that's a neat concept when you're able, as a regional institution, to get that large of a USDA grant to develop a new agricultural commodity, which we're hoping to do with Pennycrest. So it's really interesting to see a regional institution like us to be able to start or kickstart that new biofuel for the aviation.
I'm sorry, you were pointing out how important outreach is, like you said, to get young kids and high school kids to get into college, to think about agriculture and all of the different aspects of agriculture. And I know you're real proud of one of your graduates, Trent Tabor, who is in charge of Cambridge High School, also receiving recognition for the work that he does.
Absolutely. That's what you're kind of hoping to do when they leave your hallowed halls, right? Is to go out and set the world on fire. And we have a lot of students to do that. We got a very competitive national livestock judging team, of course, and got a national recognized weeds team as well. And of course, my ag ed students going out there and educating the future generations of agriculturalists. Wow, that's really important to have, an ally in the classroom like that. And so when you have these young ag teachers out there that, of course, graduate from your program, they're going to say positive words about, where they were educated and the experiences they had at Western. And that goes a long way. And, one of our objectives is to try to stay connected with our alumni. And, one of the things I do every fall is I have an alumni panel, and it's made of 5 or 6 of our alums. And they just come in and they tell their stories to our current students, right? Our existing students about their career and how Western was a springboard for them. And that's really critical to start talking about and having those conversations, especially with your existing students about, hey, that could be me someday. So that's really important as well.
And there really is so many different career options. I mean, like you said, agricultural business, science, education. You can get interested in something and build a career by going to the School of Agriculture.
Absolutely. In the field of agriculture, you can start with an entry-level position. Sometimes maybe that's an internship over the summer, right? And that turns into an offer. And I'm always amazed on how many of our students that do that internship between their junior and senior year and have an offer that summer. And to be able to get through that last academic year is sometimes tough, knowing that you already got a job ready for you, when you graduate. But that's the type of students we are. And the best way to describe our students in one word is hustle. We look for students that want to hustle and make a difference.
Western Illinois University School of Agriculture Director, Dr. Andrew Baker. On the air, on the radio, on the web, on your mobile device, and streaming on your computer. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, a proud supporter of WQPT, has been serving Quad City families since 1889. They now have live stream capabilities for viewing your loved one's funeral or memorial service.
At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial and physical health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.